Little truth time before today's video starts. I'm about to do a photo shoot and I had my makeup professionally done, which I never do. And I asked her to put like eyelashes, like fake eyelashes on me. And I am so, I feel like Minnie Mouse. It feels so weird. I just have to tell you, otherwise it's gonna occupy my mind the whole video. We'll see how the photo shoot goes. I received a question actually in the dojo a few weeks ago that was super powerful. It was, should I rest or should I push forward? She was super exhausted and yet she has no money right now. She's going through a divorce. She's suddenly a single mom, and she knows she needs to make a living, but she's tired. And so she was asking, should I rest or push forward? My immediate answer is rest, right? But that's actually not my answer today. Rest is always good. Rest is essential. I think the pace that our world goes at is crazy pants. But today I'm going to talk about something a little bit different. What if it's not about resting or pushing forward, but about something entirely different? And by the way, thank you so much for your comments, your emails. You guys have been amazing. Stella was right here in the last video and she has passed on to the other side. I made a video for you guys in the middle of my grief on how I grieve and all of this, and I posted it on my personal Facebook page, and then I got cold feet and I never posted it here because it doesn't feel relevant to my YouTube channel. But if you do want to see a real and raw moment of me grieving and how I go through grief, you can go to my Facebook page, or if you really want me to post it here, let me know. And maybe you'll give me the courage to do that. This question is really powerful because in her example, she knows she needs to make videos. She wants to be visible. She needs to promote her coaching business, but she's exhausted. She's going through a divorce. She's going through a massive spiritual awakening simultaneously. She's leaving her church. She's like going through so many shifts. And she's in this place of, what do I do? Do I take care of myself, or do I really take care of my daughter and my finances by pushing forward to create wealth and money for us through my business? I can only tell you from my experience that I've done both. I have done the absolute rest in the redwoods, like where I gave up my whole life, moved to the redwood forest for 1.5 years and was totally off grid pretty much, and was in deep rest and relaxation, and I had zero financial growth happening at that time, but I was definitely awakening spiritually. On the flip side, in order to get my feet on the ground and to get on my own 2 feet, following that 1.5 years, I chose to work tirelessly for 10 years to just break through and financially find my way in this world. And if you saw a recent video I made, you know, it costed me my health. It was not good, right? Working that hard. So what I've discovered over this last year, actually over 1 year since I've been on this amazing health journey and reclaiming my health, which is our greatest wealth, is I have found something. Instead of, what did I write here? I said, instead of working to the bone, which is what most people do so that they can retire someday in the future. So they're like, one day I'm gonna have fun. One day I'm gonna play. One day I'm gonna do what I love. One day I'm gonna take care of myself. And they just work, grind. Bone is wearing down. Health is withering away into nothingness for that day that never comes, which is retirement someday. And look at the word retire. Like, I'm just gonna keep tiring myself out. It just doesn't make sense. Which then eventually leads to like marrying pharmaceuticals, right? Which is what I'll get into that in a future video. I've got into it in past videos, but if you really look at the cycle, our system is basically built upon you believing that you're not enough and that you need more and that you need to be more and that you need to better yourself, that we need to reach something much different than where we're at so that one day we'll be good enough. The problem is we're never good enough compared to what we're taught and fed is good enough, right? There is no such thing as perfection. So then usually we grind ourselves to the bone. This is the American way. And then that leads to getting sick. And then that leads to being locked into pharmaceuticals, either for mental or physical health or both. there's another way, okay? And it doesn't, I know the other way might be like, okay, well, let me just rest and relax and put my health first, maybe move to the redwoods like I did, or a cave somewhere in India, but then being financially broke, right? So you have like these two polarities, financially broke, but taking really good care of oneself and spiritually deeply connected, or working oneself to the bone, dreaming of retirement someday, and basically being hooked on pharmaceuticals. What I'm proposing today is it's not this or that. We are being summoned as leaders of love, as empaths, as highly sensitive people, if you connect with that language, as somebody who's here, who's a hugely powerful heart, and you are here to brighten our world, which starts with you, right? It starts with your state of consciousness. You want to take care of yourself and you also want to better the world. There is a middle path, and this is what we're being called to at this time, the middle path. The Buddha talked a lot about the middle path, finding balance. I know that there's certain dialogues and conversations about, I think Danielle Laporte, who I love, says balance is a myth. I disagree. I used to agree with that, and now I don't, because over the last year, a little over a year, I have found balance in my finances, in my health, in my work, in my pleasure, in my joy, in my whole life, in my spiritual path. So what this means is resting and taking really good care of myself, and try this on for yourself, and taking action from here. So in the past, I used to put, I'd have 20 things on my list to do in one day, probably get to like 4 or 5 of them, and then I'd beat myself up, always feel behind, like running out of time. Now, I have one noodle, I have one noodle on my list. No, I have one needle moving action on my list per day. And like, this is a needle moving action, right? I'm visible, I'm giving value. At the end of this video or down in the comments, you'll see what I offer, that we have, these amazing programs, or you can, connect more in my community. So that is powerful, because most of the people who enroll in our coach training or in our coaches collective, in our coaches membership, come from YouTube, right? So this is a really important thing for me to do regularly. For you, it might be something completely different. For this particular woman who asked the question, YouTube is great for her. So what I do is I take really good care of myself. My health comes first. I come first. My state of consciousness comes first. And from here, I share from my heart. I share authentically. I give value. I make offers, I work with clients, I work with our students, I create curriculum and trainings. I actually have something really exciting new coming up, which I'll announce in the coming weeks. But, I create transformational experiences for people. And so if I do one of those things per day, that is the middle path for me. For you, maybe it's like 2 or 3 or things a day. I don't know. Maybe it's 1, like me. Maybe you're like, I had a client who I worked with last year who was just like, she could work at 10 times the speed as me, get 10 times the amount of things done, and still maintain her energy. So for her, it might be 10 things a day. I don't know. But to you, what I want to share with you is that only you know what your highest good is, okay? Only you know what your middle path is, what the middle way is for you. What is the path of balance for you? How can you take what I call relaxed action, real action, relaxed action? We come into a relaxed state first, and we take action from here. When we're delivering what we're delivering, I no longer have the pressure in my head that I need to do something, or I have to be somewhere. I have a photo shoot that I actually need to get to in an hour that's 45 minutes away. I have plenty of time. I feel completely at ease in my skin. Something has shifted because I put the horse in front of the cart, right? I put my state of consciousness, my health, my well-being as number one. Not just preaching it, but really living it 100%, not 70%, 100%. That means when I fall off a little bit, which we all do, I come right back I find my way back. I learn the lesson, I come back. I'm not talking about being perfect here. I'm just saying it's time for light workers, leaders of love, coaches, healers, empaths, inspirational beings to reclaim our health. And instead of overextending ourselves all over the world, giving everything we don't have to other people, it's about giving from the overflow, okay? So this is what I think is the middle path. So rather than it being, should I do this or should I do this? What if it's yes and? What if it's I relax, I take care of myself, I rest, and I create, I move forward, right? It's this beautiful, beautiful balance. So instead of like working yourself to the bone, it's really standing strong in your own health and well-being and taking action from here. Bring a state of rest into all that you do. Bring a state of rest, or I'll ask you this question. How can you bring a state of rest and relaxation into everything that you do so it's real action, it's relaxed action? And you might just write in your journal, what does my perfectly balanced day look like? What does a day of me living the middle path that the Buddha talked about? The path of balance? What does this look like for me? And notice how the mind might say, that's not enough. One thing a day, you're never going to get to where you want to go. For me now, there's no place I'd rather be in the future than where I am right now. That's the awakening. And that's what makes it so much easier to live the middle path. So my reason for making this video is if we can sustain our energy and collectively as coaches, healers, those of us who want to shed light and inspire others in this world, if we can collectively keep our frequencies really strong and vital and take steady action daily to bring our gifts out into the world, we are transforming the world, starting from within and sharing without, okay? So let me know what you're hearing in the comments below. I love you guys so much. I'm just so grateful to have this community and to feel free again. I don't know. All I can say is when I did the redwoods were great, right? But when I did the working to the bone for year after year after year, I would not take that back for anything in the world, even though it cost me my health for a while. I learned a lot from it, and it really has led me to this message that I'm here to share. You are more than enough as you are right now. You simply being in the room, breathing deeply with another person as you're with somebody, actually facilitates them in breathing deeper. There's not much you need to do other than be your beautiful present self. So anywhere that you believed or bought into some BS that you need to add on to yourself or make more money or do this, it's great to have goals, fantastic. It's what coaching is all about, right? And if you believe that that is going to fill some kind of void or hole in you, you know this. It never does. And really what I'm here to share with you and remind you of is that who you are right now, with all the quirks and all the challenges and all the beauty and all the magic, the whole mix is such a gift in our world. And I thank you so much for cherishing yourself enough to put your well-being first and to bring that gift that's inside you out into the world. And I'm going to be supporting you in that in future videos with really powerful ways to courageously and confidently bring your gift out into the world. And obviously I have a lot of videos on this channel about that as well. So if you got something from this video, if you're open to walking the middle path, the path of balance, yes, and I rest and I move forward confidently and powerfully, then give this video a thumbs up. If you want to join the soul family, you can hit the subscribe button. If you do want to raise your frequency, if you're like ready to go deeper and just command your frequency at a whole other level, you might love my workshop that I created. I'll put a link below. It's totally free, and it's all about raising your frequency regardless of who you're with or what's going on in your life, so you feel good no matter what. All right, my friends, I'm gonna go do a photo shoot. It's gonna be fun. Oh, do I take these eyelashes off or do I keep them on? It feels so weird. I have to say, I'm used to being more natural than this. All right, my friends, I love you all. Thank you so much for existing.